But Danny, we had a big tough game on Saturday against Solihull Moors. First of all, we'll just have a quick look back at Tuesday's game and a decent result in the local derby. Couldn't have gone any better, could it?
No, I think the lads managed the game really well. It was a very professional performance from start to finish, completely different to the game Saturday. From a football perspective, it was more about our discipline and obviously togetherness to make sure that we deal with what is a massive threat from Woking, and I think it'll be very similar on Saturday. And Solihull will be one of the teams with what Tim's done there that'll expect to be up there and challenging. So there's never a good time to play a team like that. But we'll go up there prepared, ready, and hopefully we can put a little bit more of a stamp on the game than we did on Tuesday. Because I thought we lost a little bit of our identity on Tuesday with the ball. But out of possession we were excellent. So.
And you made 3 changes Tuesday, all 3 of the lads all performing well. Do you expect to make changes in the same sort of number for Saturday's game?
We haven't really, we need to look at that. We're having a meeting tomorrow on how we're going to manage Saturday. We've got a couple of people that we need to manage them from game time perspective, just because of the time of the year it is, and making sure that everyone's fit and sharp and ready and fresh. But I think what Tuesday showed was the quality in the squad. We did make 3 changes and we put in an equally impressive performance, albeit a slightly different type of performance.
How would you describe your style on selecting a squad? Are you a manager who likes to, you have your favourite side, you know your strongest 11, or are you one who likes to change it about a bit?
I think we have to look at the here and now, and because what you perceive to be your strongest squad on paper as pre-season's happening doesn't necessarily end up being what is your strongest team on paper, because players have form in and out, and also it's with some of the lads we're talking about horses for courses, depending on who we're playing against as well. We've got to be conscious of what we're up against, because for example there's no point going completely technical against a team like Solihull. We've got to make sure we've got that physicality in there as well to deal with when we haven't got the ball. But yeah, no, the best players will play. The best players for that game will play, and in our opinion, obviously. And football's a great thing, and there'll be a lot of supporters that will have their own sort of subjective views on who are the better players. But from our perspective, our planning goes into, this is our style of football. This is how we like to play. However, out of possession, how do we need to be? And this lad will suit that. And the boys are brilliant. They know that. They know some of them have got to be patient because it's a long season. But no, to be fair, it all comes down to you want your best players to be playing.
And we go to Solihull now. Woking were a bit, again, that sort of style of side. They've got 4 big lads at the back. They're strong at set pieces. Solihull are also a team who are quite in a land of the giants. I think looking back to last season, I think their smallest player was actually their goalkeeper.
Yeah.
So is that sort of a test that we're expecting? But they have that quality as well in their side where they can get it down and play.
I think that what Tim did last year was he stuck to their strengths, and I think sometimes when managers get hold of players, they try and change them and adapt to them. And I've got a philosophy, and this is how I want to play. Whereas Tim looked at his squad and we've clearly got a strength in this area, and they played on that and did that very successfully last season. And some would argue were unlucky not to go up last year. And what Solihull haven't done is sit back and think that they can go the same again. They've strengthened the squad, they've improved the squad. So it's going to be a massive test for the lads, again physically and mentally. I think the mental side of the game on Tuesday was one of our strongest points. That kind of, even when we did go through a stage where we made some stupid errors, our ability to reset and get ourselves back on an even keel again, we did that really well. So, but no, Saturday's going to be a very, very tough game. And
they've started really well. They beat Torquay 3-0 on Tuesday night. All the goals in the first half. Was there a danger that they probably could relax a bit in that second half, whereas we were more in a game throughout, wasn't we?
Yeah, and I think that it depends how you play it. Some teams are ruthless, and if they scored 3, they want to go and score 4, 5, and 6, and other teams will just make sure that we don't concede, and when you're 3-0 up, if you don't concede, you win the game. So I wasn't there, and I don't know what was going on in the team talk, so it'd only be assumptions. But they they're going to be dangerous, and like the signing of Paul McCallum is a great addition for them. And yeah, they've had a good start, and like most teams, they're probably going to get stronger and stronger. So.
And as you mentioned again, going back to sort of player selection and who's fit and who's that, does this 8 games in this August make it a bit more difficult for managers, because you're all just coming out of pre-season, no one's really at their optimum fitness, certainly until the season sort of gets going. Does all these games coming thick and fast help or hinder a side?
It depends. If you're winning every game, then the manager would argue it helps you. If you're not, then I say it's a hindrance. I think that it still has to be each game as it comes, and for us it's about managing the squad, making sure we utilise the players in the right way to get through August as a bit like pre-season, relatively unscathed, both from a points perspective and also from an injury perspective, because it's thick and fast, and there's not many sports in the world where you only get 5.5 weeks preparation, and then they hit you with 8 intensive competitions. So if you allude it to an athletics or like the sprinting, the tennis or whatever, it's quite progressive over a long period of time. Football, you have a big break, you're back in for 5 or 6 weeks. You can't have too many games because they're not ready to play the games, and then in the National League, then you get hit with 8 in the space of a month, and it's tough. So you've got to kind of, the best way you can, get through it relatively unscathed, as I said, both from points and from an injury perspective.
Yeah, and then just going back to Tuesday night again, how refreshing was it for you just to get your first win as Aldershot boss in the derby match in front of a big away following, a crowd that they were non-stop chanting and backing the team? I think a lot of the boys speaking to them after said, that gave us that extra bit in that second half, certainly.
Yeah, I mean, I put on social media earlier the week that was kind of for them. Yes, it's for us. We want 3 points on the board, but we wanted to give the fans something that they can almost, whether you call it bragging rights, whatever you want to call it, we wanted them to have feel that joy. And from the selfish perspective, our end, it was important that we got points on the board as soon as we possibly can, because the longer you go without points, the pressure builds, and it's almost how long until they're going to win, how long until they're going to get a point. So it was good to win the derby. B, it was good to not concede a goal, and C, again, from our perspective, it gets that first win on the board, and in a fantastic game as well.
And what's that done for morale in the camp?
The morale's high anyway. Even after the Fylde game, you come out of the dressing room afterwards, and because of how positive the performance was, we were buzzing and we were ready for Tuesday. What we've got to now do, and in the nicest possible way, Tuesday's now history, and we've got to come back down to reality of we've got Solihull Saturday, and we have to manage that and deal with that game. We can't be walking around patting ourselves on the back because we beat Woking, because that's history now. So as high as morale is, our focus is Saturday and making sure we can get something out of the game Saturday.
Okay, well, thank you for your time, Danny. Cheers.
No, Chris, brilliant.
See you
Thank
Saturday.
you. Cheers, mate.